like higher speeds, this Yeti just feels so under control, like so calm, like not twitchy at all. Wow. Yeah, that's incredible. Okay, I almost have the suspension where I need it. Gonna slow down the rear just a little bit. Oh, cooking, dude. That was fast. This bike.
This bike was faster?
This bike feels super damp.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's super smooth. Like in fact, I was just talking on the film. I just said this bike just feels so calm.
It does. Yeah.
Like just easy. What's up, guys? Good to be back with you. Good to be back on another e-bike. I ride almost every single day, so riding an e-bike is the nice little break that I need during my week. Today we're on the Yeti LTE. This is replacing the old 160E. It's got some really good, tasteful updates. It's always nice to be on a Yeti e-bike because it has the Sixfinity, 6-bar suspension link back there. It's just so smooth. It's so open. It's really, really good. Come on this ride with me today. We're going to talk about how this bike climbs, how it descends, who I think it's for. It's a big bike, 160 in the rear, 170 up front, and it wants to go fast. It's so composed at speed. It's unbelievable. Come on this ride with me. All right, there we go. Had this bike for over a week now, but I had the suspension set up kind of crappy the first 2 rides, and it feels much better now. That feels awesome. It's interesting, this bike kind of weighs a lot, like just moving around, like putting it in the car or like whatever, but out on the trail, like it doesn't feel like it's super heavy. I mean, it feels like an e-bike obviously, but it doesn't feel like 5 or 6 pounds heavier than some of the other e-bikes I've been riding. All right, so as you can see, the bike at speed is just unbelievable. It's just so calm and composed. It's just, I mean, if you're a guy who needs an e-bike to go just smash high-speed stuff, this of all the e-bikes I've ridden, this is the one that handles high speed the best. That Sixfinity suspension system back there is unbelievable. It's obviously got that big Float X2 and the Fox 38 up front. It's just, this bike wants to eat up any amount of trail at any speed. And I don't always want to go that fast, to be honest with you. So to feel like just so comfortable on this bike is really nice. Really, really nice. The biggest update for the Yeti, it's got some geometry updates a little bit. 64-degree head tube angle, 78-degree seat tube angle. I'm on a size medium. I'm 5'8", and it has a 465 millimeter reach here, but it doesn't ever feel like it when you're on the bike. I think because this is so steep and kind of slack, I don't know. It never felt like a big bike. If I was 5'10", I think you got to definitely look at the large, because this feels nice and tidy for me. I like bikes that feel kind of small. Most medium bikes today, e-bike or regular pedal bike, have all gotten a little big for me, to be honest with you. And so it was nice to get on this bike and it felt kind of compact, right? So a little geometry update for the LTE over the old 160E. It's got an 800-watt battery and the new Bosch motor. That's like the biggest news about the bike, I would say, is that Bosch motor. They replaced the Shimano that was on there before. Shimano had some problems, I think, a little bit with that 800 motor they had. They have the 801 now, which is better. But the Bosch, forget about it, man. It's unbelievable. Really nice touch screen right here built into the top tube. Super, super nice. switching through all the modes. I mean, you can hop on their website and check it out. I don't need to talk too much about that. It's an e-bike. I guess that's a good segue into climbing. It's an e-bike. It just goes. I mean, we got into some pretty steep stuff this last week on this bike and really loose stuff. It goes good. When I think about when people ask, what would you even talk about climbing on an e-bike? Because they all just have motors and they just go, right? In those really tight sections that are very, very steep, that have like a tight 180-degree switchback, a lot of these big e-bikes, yeah, that front wheel wants to lift when you hit the gas a little bit, right? When the motor starts engaging. And some climb a little better than others. For 90% of people out there, myself included, it's an e-bike. It's gonna get you up the trail. Now this is so steep that riding a pedal bike is just, it's barely doable, but it's miserable. And an e-bike just, takes all that problem away. It's crazy. It's got 3 settings for the bottom where the shock mounts. It came in the neutral in the middle setting. I left it there the whole time. I've only had the bike for a week, so I haven't had enough time to mess with that part. Also, you could put a 27.5 wheel out back and run a mullet. I've been running at 29 the whole time. Again, I've only had it for a week. I would say the biggest takeaway for me on this bike, and if you're looking at buying an e-bike, this one is gonna be, I would think, more bike than what most people would ever need. I rode it back to back with the Cannondale Moterra. I rode it with the shuttle, the Pivot Shuttle AM. And in as much as those are both shorter travel bikes, they just feel a little zippier, a little easier to pump and to move around on the trail than this. This feels like a big doggy. It's a heavy bike too. It feels heavier than those other bikes. Out on the trail, when you're just riding this kind of hides the weight well in the bike. When you're riding at speed, it doesn't feel like too obnoxious or heavy, although it does feel heavier than those other bikes, even while you're riding. This feels much more, more so than any bike I've ever ridden through chunky trails at high speeds. I would pick it every single time. Every time I would pick it because it can just calm the trail down no matter how rowdy it is, and that's really nice when you want to go fast. I had one scary minute this week. I haven't had a scary minute on a bike in a while. I've not crashed in a while, but I almost crashed on this bike because I just let it open up so much. I got into a little bad situation, but I have not gone that fast on a bike in a very long time. I mean, I'm a dad, I'm in my 40s. I gotta go to work tomorrow. I gotta go to work today. And I can't be getting wadded up. This bike, I think, will help you ride safer at higher speeds than any bike I've ridden in recent memory. It's very, I was telling my buddy Tyler, sorry, I hate it when these videos get too long, but I gotta tell you, this Sixfinity, I think that's what they call this suspension style, I think it's better than their Switch Infinity that comes on their pedal bikes. It's just so good. I would want to ride bikes like this downhill more often. The problem is they probably wouldn't pedal uphill quite as well. It's unbelievable. It's really, really good. Would I pick this bike over something like the Pivot Shuttle AM? I mean, that's an interesting thing to think about because on most trails that I ride, which are more moderate, more blue trails, that's where most people ride their bikes, is on more moderate trails, even with an e-bike. I think the little bit zippier feeling and sportier feeling of that other bike is nice when you're going downhill. You don't have to pump it quite as much. But if you're like a very serious biker that goes high speed, I mean, that's the takeaway for me on this thing is just, I mean, if you're gonna go downhill fast, I don't think you could do it any better on any other bike besides this. It's unbelievable. It's very cool. I picked up this bike from Salt Cycles. They are a sponsor of my channel. They help support me. They got me this bike early, even though I didn't publish the video on time, but they did in fact get me this bike early, and I really appreciate them. So a great way to support me, and what I'm doing is to support Salt Cycles, or buy your bike from Salt Cycles. So give Chris a call. He can custom build bikes. He's got all sorts of bikes in stock, including the LTE. One thing I want to say also, not a lot of viewers of my channel watch e-bikes because it's just not what I've ever done. I'm not much of an e-biker. I don't ride a lot of e-bikes, but I will tell you after, I've ridden a dozen or more by now at this point, and I would tell you that for me, a guy who rides more of a cross-country bike like every day, that's more the lane that I kind of stay in, trail bikes and cross-country bikes. I would say my favorite e-bikes have been so far that Pivot Shuttle SL and the MTE from Yeti. I like those lighter weight ones, but for some reason, the market, a couple of the 4 or 5 bike shops that I regularly speak with, they tell me nobody wants those bikes. Nobody wants the bikes that I like, which are the lighter weight, smaller batteries, smaller motor e-bikes. But I would take the MTE personally over this LTE. People say, well, you don't have as big a battery or you don't have as powerful as a motor. I'm like, yeah, I know. Isn't that great? Like, I don't need a motorcycle. I just need like a little extra assistance on my ride for the 1 or 2 days a week that I kind of want to take a break. So for me and what I'm about, this doesn't really fit what I'm about. Now, my buddy Tyler, who I ride with all the time, he's insane. He's still in his 40s and is riding at insane speeds and terrain, and he's crazy. Goes to Whistler, stuff like that. Hits all the big jumps. And he says he'd be all about this bike. This is the one he'd get. So there's just a bike out there for everyone. The takeaway that you need to know, updated Bosch motor, good upgrade, some geometry changes a little bit, and then can handle the speed all day, baby. Thanks to Salt Cycles for getting me this bike. Click the links down below if you want to learn more about the bike. It has, you can go mullet on this thing. I think it has all the same chain lengths, chainstay lengths on all the bikes, which is weird because I thought bikes were now switching to longer bikes, have longer chainstays. I don't know. Who knows? The bike rode awesome. Thanks, guys. We'll see you in the next one. All right, so yeah, this bike definitely felt like a little more calm, a little more composed, just like not scary ever.
Yeah, this one's more playful.
Totally.
I do feel like I can flick this one around more, but it does have less suspension on it too, so.
And it weighs a little bit less.
Oh, does it? Okay.
I can't remember exactly how much, but yeah, it weighs a little less. Tell me what you thought about the Yeti.
It feels like my 160E.
How many seasons have you been riding the 160E?
I think for 2 seasons now. So like they said they lengthened the geometry on it, like the reach on it. It still feels really short. Like they say 165. Like if
no
we were
way.
talking about it, we feel like it's more like, I don't know.
It just doesn't
like
feel
an extra, like half an inch shorter than every other bike out there.
Yeah, it does. It feels tighty. I'm 5'8", and like if you're 5'10", I think you'd have to look at a large.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, mine feels like a small, like the small pivot I have. It feels probably even smaller than that.
Yeah.
Like reach-wise.
Yeah. Anything else? What did you think about climbing on this compared to your 160E?
The Bosch motor is like definitely more powerful, but mine's like the old version, the 800.
On the 800 Shimano?
Yeah, not the 801, the 800. So it's like the original. So yeah, the new motor definitely is, like, no question it's better. At high speed, Yeti is unbeatable. Like, it is crazy how smooth they get the faster you go. Like, there's no limit to the speed you can go on those things.
The crazy thing is I've had that shuttle for like over a month now, riding it a ton compared to the other e-bikes and just regular bikes I ride. I thought, man, that thing's so composed. It's so amazing. And then I get this a week ago. I'm like, holy crap.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Yeah. You can definitely feel more of the trail with this bike.
Yeah.
Which, for better or worse, whatever, I don't know. Like, I like feeling the trail.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it was just the tires that made that one so damp that you couldn't feel the trail.
But if you're going to go do scary stuff,
I'd probably go with that Yeti.
I think the Yeti is going to give me way more.
It'll give you more confidence,
you don't have
especially at speed. Like it's the speed. I wouldn't say like the slow, chunky stuff is going to be any difference between the two.
True.
But like as soon as you start like just hauling, like the Yeti is just so good.
Yeah, that was crazy to see that. That's just, you just don't know. You can't look at a bike on paper and say it's going to be something.
Yeah.
You don't know. It's crazy. All right, let's go do the lower stuff.
You want to go
Rush.
rush?